Hi everyone, in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to use a load balancer and NAT. So we have two servers that are accessible by using single IP address and different port numbers. So let's start from the beginning. We're going to create resources. So first of all we'll start from the resource that has a name as a resource group. So we're going to create a resource group, and all other elements we're going to create under this resource group. So we'll name the resource group as following: NAT RG. Then we click to review create and then create the resource group. So resource group is typically a group that will consist all elements of our network, including servers, load balance, and NAT. So the next step, we're going to create the virtual network. So to create the virtual network, we'll go to all resources and then click to create button. And then in the create button, we're going to search for the virtual networks. After finding out the virtual network, we'll click on top of it and click to the create button. So we have to be sure we're creating it under the resource group that we just created, not RG, and the virtual network name is going to be VNet NAT. Review and create. After validation, we will click to create button one more time. Alright, now the network is deployed. We can see here the report about it. So if we'll click to all resources button, we have to see here that the network is created. If we don't see it, we have to click to refresh button multiple times. Alright, let's try again. And here we go. As we can see, VNet NAT is located under the resource group that has a name NAT RG. Then we'll create two virtual machines. We are creating two virtual machines, and we're going to use the same operating system, Ubuntu. So we have to be sure again that we are creating it under the resource group NAT RG, and then we'll just name it as we wish, Ubuntu Web 1, selecting the proper region, and then selecting the most basic operating system, and then the most basic variant of the physical hardware. And then we are creating username and password instead of SSH public key. And then we are also selecting our public inbound rule, like we selected HTTP, HTTPS, and SSH ports. And here we select our network. So network and subnet that we just created. And then after validation, one more time, we click to create button. Now our first server is about to be ready and to be deployed. After it will be deployed, we can connect to the server by clicking on top of the all resources. And in all resources, we're going to find our server and click on top of it. And then we'll go to settings of connection. Alright, now it's deployed all resources, selecting our Ubuntu Web 1 server. Alright, and now we go to and click to connect. selecting console server, console connection. We will log in by our created credentials, Azure user, and the password. Trying one more time. Okay, now we have an access to our server one. What we do first, we will just make an update of our applications, and then after it will be updated, we're gonna install Apache server to run the web server on this machine. So after we have installed our Apache server, we'll go and find out the location where the HTML file, index HTML file is located, typically by typing cd var www html, and then by typing sudo nano, we open index HTML with the editor, and then clearing all unneeded text, hypertext, and just writing here our own heading 1 information that is going to be web server 1, closing heading and closing HTML tag, saving it by pressing hotkey Ctrl X, and then by typing Y as an yes, saving our configurations. Now we'll do the same stuff with the second server. We'll create a second server under the same resource group, and we'll select the same network address. Going to network configuration, and we're gonna select here our network that we just created. Okay, now we are ready to review and create. After validation, we have to click to create button one more time. We can see that our resource is deployed. Now we have 2 servers. We're gonna also connect to the server by the same approach, clicking to connect, and then selecting our console server. But before that, we can take a look for our IP configurations. Our IP address is 10.0.0.5 as a local IP address, and the first machine has an IP address 10.0.0.4. Alright, now we connected to Ubuntu Web 2 server and entering by our credentials and also updating our applications and installing Apache server. By typing sudo apt update, we are updating, and then after update we'll make an installation of the Apache server. Alright, after we'll make an installation of Apache server, we're gonna also enter into the additional mode of the index HTML file. and then we'll just edit our file so that we can recognize that this is the server 2. So we're gonna make addition of the HTML page. Now it's time to create a load balancer with NAT inbound NAT rules. We again select the same resource group. We give a name to our load balancer, LBNAT. Selecting type to public. And creating front-end IP configuration, giving a name for it, and creating a new public IP address. Next, we'll create the backend pools. So in backend pools, we're gonna select our two private addresses of two virtual machines. They are 10.0.0.4 for VM1 and 10.0.0.5 for VM2. After creating it, we'll use the inbound NAT rule. So in inbound NAT rule, we're gonna make a bounding between the public address and the private address. First of all, we give a name and connecting with the backend pool, and connecting with the front IP address with the port range starting from 8080 and redirecting it to port number 80, which is typically the HTTP protocol. Now we are ready to go and save our configurations. I mean, to create the load balancer After a load balancer will be created, we're gonna take a look for its configurations, whether we set up all correct or not. Now we'll take a look for the deployment process. After the deployment process will be done, we'll go to and check how the load balancer and NAT are configured. We go to all resources, finding out the LB NAT. We also have a public address that is created. So in LB NAT, we're gonna take a look for backend pool. So in backend pool, we have our servers. In front-end IP address, we have our front IP address, which is public IP address. And also, we'll check the inbound NAT rule. So in inbound NAT rule, we'll click to it, and we can see that we have bounded two local addresses with the ports 80 and 81. So if we'll type public IP address plus port 8080, we'll be redirected to server 1. And if we'll type same IP address, public address plus port number 8081, we'll be redirected to VM2. Let's try to do it. We're going to take a look for the IP address, public IP address, all resources, then public IP address, and then copying the public address, which is now 4.155.170.0. We'll just paste it here, and then column 8080. Server 1 is accessible. Now we'll open second server by using port number 8081. So now we have load balancer that is working properly with NAT. So we have two private IP addresses that were bounded with one public IP address and two port numbers.